So we're shooting one sentence of a trailer that I'm working on. It's a little secret project that you guys will see in about 2 weeks or so. All this set up just for one sentence, but sometimes you have to suffer for the art. My name's Rick Ellis. All right, so what are we doing now? Okay, these are 5 quick tips, things that you can do to make your jiu-jitsu immediately better. Number 5, you need to learn to use your legs, not just your arms. One of the hallmarks of an advanced player is their ability to use their legs. They use their legs to push, they use their legs to pull, they use their legs to hook, they use their legs to lift, they use their legs to scissor, they use their legs to pinch, they use their legs to create a fulcrum. There are a ton of things that you can do with your legs that will make you immediately much more effective. So if I'm trying to prevent Jordan from passing my guard, I need to, of course, get some grips with my hands, and one of the simplest things is to get sleeve control. But with my legs, I can push against his hips, I can push against any part of his body, and there are different guards in which you would push, right? I can hook and push. I can hook behind the ankle, I can hook behind the knee. I can, if his knee comes down for a knee cut pass, I can pinch, I can get a knee obstruction. I can use that, keep passing Jordan, I can use that to create a fulcrum, right? To keep myself farther away and then maybe take the back, right? So always think about connections with your legs. I can use my shin, right? For a shin guard, but ultimately it's about creating connections with your opponents. Number 4, we have to learn to hip escape really effectively, and it's not just about the hip escape, it's about when to apply the hip escape. The hip escape is the answer to many, many guard passes. If I'm passing Jordan's guard, I'm mostly focused on getting past his knee, and there are so many different ways that we can do that, but let's just say I'm driving in and my goal is to get my knee past. Now I've effectively passed his guard. Well, the answer to that is the hip escape. So from the moment I get past that knee, if Jordan hip escapes out forcefully, look how much space he's created, and now he can come in and recover. So my rule of thumb is this: there is an alarm that is connected to my kneecaps. If anybody gets past my knee, I need to immediately hip escape aggressively and forcefully. Don't wait. Don't wait for them to connect with your hips. The longer you wait, the harder it's going to be to prevent the pass. So the moment anybody gets past your knees, the alarm goes off and you hip escape. And sometimes you hip escape more than once. Hip escape once, they continue to close the distance. Hip escape again, they're continuing to close the distance. Hip escape a third time if you need to. But hip escape forcefully and aggressively the moment anyone gets past your knees. Number 3, keep your arms tucked in tight. Your opponents want underhooks in order for them to control you from side control, in order for them to get the seatbelt from the back. It means they need to get under your armpits. But if you shut that down and keep it closed, you'd be amazed at how much that denies and how much easier it makes it for you to escape and how much harder it makes it for them to control you. So it doesn't matter what the position is, always be mindful of where your arms are. Don't be out here trying to block, right? Let them come to you and you keep your arms in tight. So if Jordan wants the back, yeah, this is what he wants. He wants the seatbelt, right? He wants the underhook, he wants the overhook. But what if I just shut everything down, right? What if I tuck my chin, I've got my elbows tucked in, there's really nothing he can do and then we can escape. That's one example. Let's say he wants to pass my guard. If I'm out here, right, I'm giving him all of this space to operate in. Well, maybe a better strategy is to stay here and stay tight. And now there's not a whole lot that he can do. He doesn't have a far side underhook. He doesn't have a crossface. You know, this isn't so bad, right? He will expend much more energy than me if I'm just in this position like this. So those are just two examples of ways to keep your arms in, but the general principle is always keep your arms in. There are occasionally times when you need to reach out, but those are few and far between. Most of the time, it's much better to keep your arms in tight. All right, number 2, and by the way, these are not in any kind of order of importance. These are all important. So number 2 is learn how to bridge. The bridge, as Roy Harris says, is one of the unstoppable moves in jiu-jitsu. You cannot prevent somebody from bridging. There are lots of positions in jiu-jitsu where somebody can lock you down and deny your ability to move, but you can always bridge. And the key to escaping side control is having a strong bridge. That is absolutely the key. If you've got a weak bridge, you're never going to get out of side control. Okay, so this is a little drill that I like to have my students do, and Jordan's lighter than me, so it's not very difficult for me to overpower him with the bridge, but what I would recommend is find someone in your class, a friend, who is maybe 50 pounds heavier than you, 60 pounds, and have them hold you very tightly in side control. He's got an underhook, he's got a crossface, he has his base spread nice and wide. What I want to do is start with my frames. I'm going to have my forearm under his neck, cupping the shoulder, and my other wrist is against his hip. And now his only job is to hold me to the mat. He's gonna really tighten this up and keep it as tight as possible. I wanna put my feet close to my butt and now bridge up, okay? Now, if he can stop me, it means that my bridge is weak. If I can overpower him, it means I have a pretty good bridge. And again, find someone who's heavier than you and you'll be surprised how strong this motion is. Get your feet really close to your butt, and you want to be up on the balls of your feet and bridge up and forcefully. Right? Hold me even tighter, Jordan. Really hold as wide a base as possible. Okay, here we go. If your bridge is strong, it's going to be very, very difficult for people to hold you in side control. Practice the bridge. I guarantee it'll pay dividends. All right, so we're going to reverse this because I'm heavier and stronger than Jordan. Let's see if I can hold him down. Okay, hold on. I'm going to really try. Okay, this time getting a knee in and actually escape. Yeah. You cannot deny the bridge. It is an unstoppable move in jiu-jitsu. So you might notice there's a bucket in the corner now. The leak started again. So here we are. Bloop. All right, let's get to it. Number 1, focus on control, not the submission. If you think about all the times that you lose the position and get reversed, it's almost always when you are going for a submission or when you are attempting a transition, because it's in those moments that you create space. Your opponents can then capitalize on that space and either recover guard or reverse you. So as a strategy, instead of that, focus on control. Don't worry about the submission. And look, I understand we all want to get the submission because the submission is how we gauge our progress in jiu-jitsu. If you're tapping everybody, you're better than if you're not tapping everybody. But you have to get rid of that mindset, at least for a while, at least during white belt and even through blue belt, because you're not really going to be good at submissions until you get to purple belt and beyond. So focus on positional control. If you put someone in side control, just be okay holding them in side control and seeing how long you can keep them in side control without them escaping. If you put someone in mount, see how long you can maintain mount without them escaping, and then reverse engineer how people are escaping and shore up those deficiencies. Because once you learn how to control someone positionally, eventually your positional control, if it gets good enough, it'll become positional dominance. Now that's when the submissions become much more reliable, because you're not giving anybody space to operate. In the early stages of jiu-jitsu, everything's very loose. You have very little control. At the higher levels of jiu-jitsu, you have immense control over people, and your finishing rate, your submission percentage, goes up proportionally with the degree of control you have over your opponent. So don't worry about the submission yet. Those things will come in time. You know the expression in jiu-jitsu, position before submission. I would modify that to be positional control, or even positional dominance before submission. Is that okay?
I wasn't listening to a word you said. I was glazing over.
All right, so those are 5 quick tips, things you can do to immediately make your jiu-jitsu game better. I hope that helps.